Welcome to Take One Talk, a podcast with suggestions and topics made up on the spot, and Take One has to deal with the chaos. Make sure to send in your comments and questions to our social media at Take One Improv so we can talk about it on our show. Now, get ready to take off your pants and piss yourself.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Christian Harris, and this is my friend Danny Phillips.
Hello.
Corey will be with us shortly. And we are Take One, and this is Take One Talks. Oh, this here's Toshi.
And Toshi.
Hi, Toshi.
Toshi.
So, oh my goodness.
Toshi.
Okay, so this stream just got NC-17 from the hot dog licking action. So...
Oh, he's done.
Welcome and welcome and welcome. Tonight we're going to have a bit of a short one for you. As all of us are getting super prepped, we are leaving tomorrow to go out to Odessa in the Midlands for a con, Mid-S Anime. So if you're going to be in that area, make sure to come out, see Take One perform on the Take One stage.
What else is there to do in Midland, Odessa?
We love Midland, Odessa. Please have us back. We love to perform there.
Oh, yeah.
Danny's opinions do not reflect that of Take One as a whole.
No, but what else is there for, like, the residents of Midland, Odessa? Like,
There's a college out there that I actually teach VO for.
What are they doing on a Saturday there?
I taught VO on Saturdays. So take my class.
I guess you could take your class.
In November, we're going to be having a class, but actually it's going to be on Thursdays. Go figure.
Do you get to... Is your background at your class like the replica of Stonehenge that they have there?
No.
It should definitely... you should green screen it and then have that as your background.
I would love to do that, but that would require me having a green screen in my booth. My booth is very small because I do it out of everything's moving.
We're getting closer. Okay. This is our sound guy, technical guy, Corey.
Sound, audio, video, lights.
He's gaffing right now.
He was making content earlier while I sat and looked at Instagram.
Is that what we call using the restroom, making content?
Oh, I'm about to go make content. I'm straight about to. So you guys get to carry this show. I'm going to go make some content.
So we're going to have a Patreon called Corey's Content, where we're going to put up a camera in the bathroom.
I'll pass a nugget for every bit.
Wow.
So jump on Corey's stream as Corey streams.
Yep.
Streams and screams.
Streams and screams.
We are going to be at the Marriott in Odessa
Yes.
this weekend, and it's a Saturday and Sunday con, which usually, cons now are usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but this one is going to be 2 days, so I feel like Saturday is going to be really, everyone's going to be there on Saturday, kind of thing, because that's the main day for it, and I believe it'll be the third year that Mid-S Anime
For this actual con. Yeah.
I think it's the third year.
Yeah.
And it's such a nice hotel.
It is stupid nice.
Yeah. It's really nice.
We don't deserve to be there.
No.
It is that nice. We definitely don't deserve to have our own stage, which...
Oh, yeah, we have our own room. Kind of like staging room, so...
I'm more excited about that than anything. I love that so much. The Take One stage.
It's going to be pretty cool. It's sponsored by no one. It could be sponsored by somebody. If you sponsor...
if you want to sponsor us, contact us at Take One Improv on all the socials. And we'll be like little race car drivers on our stage. We'll put your name, your brand, your company, whatever.
I've actually been thinking about that more of who could sponsor Take One?
Yeah.
Because the thing about sponsorships is we do go to a bunch of different conventions throughout the year, and we could bring people's products, we could wear t-shirts, basically kind of be their street team for them.
Yeah.
And I pitched something to Corey the other day because I was like, conventions, I think we all know that conventions can be a little smelly at times. They just can. It's a lot of people. I myself have been to the rave and gotten smelly, like, because I was dancing so, like, furiously.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, if cons can get a little smelly, we should get, like, a deodorant company to sponsor us. I'm totally down. If you own a deodorant company or, like, a shampoo company or anything like a good smelly company, we could be for you. We could bring your good smells to Weebs. Good smells for all. Like, that's my pitch.
Yeah, also, too, we love you, weebs.
We do.
Honestly, we don't think you're all smelly. It's just, but I will say, though, like, when we're at the con from, like, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and the cons go even later than that, like midnight, 1, 2, like, they go stupid late. Anybody's going to be stinky.
No, I've had to reapply deodorant.
Yeah. So we're not insulting you, except for you, and you know what you did.
Yeah, they know.
They know.
They definitely know.
They definitely know. Yeah. So if you are going to be in the area this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, in Midland, Odessa, that area, and you love anime and you love seeing people out and about in costumes, come by. And once you get into the con, our shows are free.
Yep.
So it's going to be, I think we're doing, what, two shows, plus we're going to be doing the midtime. The halftime show of the cosplay contest.
We have 2 shows in the halftime show. So it's a smaller con in all the ways, like it's like squished down, but our shows, we're going to be doing our normal comedy show. We're going to do the head-to-head show, Comedy Coliseum.
Oh my, I love the Comedy Coliseum.
Now that is on Saturday.
Yeah.
So you have to be there on Saturday if you want to go to Comedy Coliseum, which is, I think it's our most popular show.
It's our highest energy show.
Yeah.
Like when the last con we did, which was in DFW in Frisco, I had multiple people come up and tell us how much they loved our comedy college. And this isn't me being like, oh, hey, we're great. But like, it was just really sweet. I had one young lady who came up and she's like, hi. Like,
with that voice?
Yeah. It's like, are you okay? She's like, I was screaming so hard, I lost my voice. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but thank you. That's really sweet. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I had another young person come up to me and say, can I give you guys a tip?
Did you just say young person?
Yeah, he did. Like a youth pastor.
You're dressed like a youth pastor and you just said young person.
I did. I was going to say young lady, but I didn't want to engender anyone.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I see how this ended up being.
I had a youthful...
You should have just full committed and been like youngin. A youngling.
I had a youngling approach me.
Yeah.
And you cut her down.
Yes, I did. I did cut them down.
Anakin Skywalker style.
In a way, well, they were like, "Hey, can I give you a tip? You guys' show was so great," and I was this close to taking money, but I was like, "No, you know."
I straight took a tip. Like I've taken
Wait,
several.
you haven't taken? People offered you money and you didn't take it?
Well,
Man, you must be rolling in the dough.
Wow.
Like last episode, I make $700,000 a year according to the internet.
Oh, that's right. You do
Yeah.
make 7,000.
And I'm not even that rich, or I could just turn down a tip.
Well,
Someone
'cause
gave
it
us
wasn't-
$40 and we took it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember they gave us. I think you got $40, and then you and I both got 20.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we
gave
were
them.
worth less than you, but we know that.
I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh. I just want you guys to know that I waited too long, so nothing came out. I basically
You didn't make any content?
I just farted into water. Is what I did.
That's cool. I'm glad that we have that now.
That's what this podcast is. Yeah.
You need to write that down because that's going to be your autobiography.
I farted into water.
Corey fart in the water.
When air becomes fart.
Fart on the water.
I did
take. It's a parody of Smoke on the Water.
I did take a $20 bribe once, but then
A bribe?
A bribe? That's different than a tip.
No, it was a bribe. It was at one of the Ecchi cons, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, I want to get my friend on stage," and he was very drunk, and he gave me money, and I said, "No, like I'm not taking this money," and he just refused to let me not take it. But we were running a booth for charity, so I put it in the charity box.
It was for the dogs.
It was like a no
I'm
kill.
pointing over there because our dog is sleeping with
I
his
love
toy.
that when we do these shows,
he dies. Yeah.
I think
I swear he's alive.
this is ASMR for him.
Yeah.
Like he's like our soft melodic voices.
Oh, it's like, oh my gosh,
Well-
they're performing again.
He jumped up here, licked me inside my mouth, and then went to sleep.
I don't know if that's worse than what I experienced last night. Last night, he licked my butt cheek, and he licked it so hard that it like pushed it up.
He was wearing clothes.
I was wearing jeans. It wasn't like a bare butt cheek.
I
Okay.
do feel
But,
like it needs to be said.
Like it was like a wait.
and
like the cheek-
Corey was like, "Oh my!" You
It
were
was
like,
awful.
You were like, "No."
Is that the prequel album to Fart in the Water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's licking butt cheeks.
Yeah.
I licked a cheek.
Man, your blues albums are off the charts. Man.
They are.
I licked a cheek.
Every one of them, #1, platinum.
Oh yeah, I thought they'd be a number 2.
That's why he can say youngins, because he's got dad jokes.
I do have
Yeah.
dad jokes.
Okay, so
I hope-
what?
Huh?
Nothing.
Oh
Wait,
God.
what do you got?
Nothing.
What do you got?
I-
You no,
I don't have-
you obviously have something.
I
to
don't
say.
have anything to say.
You don't.
We just
I mean, unless
fill.
we want to do our first segment.
Let's do it for a second. So you're going first because you waffled first.
All right. So
First
now
waffle does the segment.
we are introducing segments into this. We're adding more structure.
Yeah.
So each of us, unbeknownst to the other two, have come up with a suggestion, a topic, something. And we're going to drop the bombshell on the other two and force them to talk about it with no heads up.
Yeah.
Speaking of bombshells, mine is about things that you have seen either in the news or in the zeitgeist recently that are like, I'm not sure that means what you think it means.
Oh, okay.
Bombshell, I think, is something that you don't know what that means.
Because mine is kamikaze.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
I
Go for
was-
it. Good luck, Colin.
Yeah.
Good luck, Colin.
I was listening to a podcast. I was actually listening to the Daily Podcast. I really enjoy that podcast. It basically dives into one topic for an hour. They were talking about these new drones that essentially they're calling kamikaze drones. But it's just a drone that takes off and it goes to another location and it either explodes or it can basically becomes unusable where it cannot come back. So it's a one-way trip for this
So
drone.
a missile.
Yeah.
It's a missile with wings.
And they kept saying kamikaze drone and I was like, that is not, I don't think that means what you think it means. I truly don't think
so.
that's...
She told me this, and I was immediately. It's like you basically just reinvented what rockets do.
Yeah.
They're a one-way and they're like, well, it's supposed to go long distance, like so a long-range missile.
Yeah, an ICBM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, are you just reinventing an ICBM?
Yeah.
Essentially, they kept saying it too. I was like, I don't think this means
I
what
think-
you think
Because like
it
before,
does.
it was just like a remote controlled missile, which also existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these drones they don't just fly in a straight line. They have to go around things. They obviously fly just like a drone does. And
Now, where I could see
maneuver.
what I could see them. So I agree with the name not being accurate. Like I don't think that means what you think it means. But I could see like a drone that's designed to basically, because drones now are like almost like full-fledged planes. Like they have their
Yeah.
own armaments and everything. And so like it goes into an area, fights its fight, and can like fly for a given amount of time, fighting its fight, shooting its gun and shooting its missiles, and then once it's about to run out, it's designed to crash into something and explode, so there's nothing left of it for them to recreate.
Yeah, and then I can't get the technology from it.
Yeah.
So sometimes these aren't like
Maybe
they're not
I
like
could see
bombs.
that,
They're
yeah.
not like exploding a long range. And
Yeah.
They're just kind of just almost like poof. You can't use me anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I could see that.
But what would you call it? Just a missile?
It's just a one-way drone,
One-way
Way
drone.
drone.
like a
Maybe-
class. Like that's a college course. That's a one-way drone. They drone at you, and you just listen to it.
Oh yeah,
jokes.
dad jokes.
Wow. You feel good about that?
Drone, bees, one-way bees. I don't know.
Okay, so is it our turn to try
Yeah,
to think?
to-
Oh, okay, so like that doesn't mean what you think it means.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what have I seen recently that was like, oh man. You know what it makes me think of is like, what's weird about the internet these days?
So much.
So
Yeah.
much, but just like how aware we are of just white women raging in public, like
They have a lot of anger.
like Karen
Anger.
stuff, but like the go-to thing is like, I'm gonna sue you, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like how little we actually don't understand law.
No, but you
And, like,
can't. Unfortunately, you can sue over almost anything.
Yes, you can.
You can start the process of suing.
But like there's so many like on both sides there's so many things that like nobody understands exactly how law works, and I don't. Like there's so much misinformation in the world about our own laws, and like almost like old wives' tales of what laws are, that I don't even know what's legal and not legal in this country.
I listened to a podcast. Oh wait, I shouldn't share that story.
Why?
Mr. Hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know this.
Oh no, we can't talk about.
I can't talk about
that'll
it.
raise the rating of this show.
Well,
straight
I
through the
wasn't going
roof.
to talk about Mr. Hands directly, but the law.
I'm watching him go through this maze right now.
Like, so there were laws that in that state where that took place. I can't remember what state it was.
yeah.
Where they were repealing certain laws that were like, oh, hey, this is out of date or whatever. Like, this doesn't work anymore. But it was one singular law that had like 5 different sub laws attached to it. So when they took that law out, I don't remember what it was. But anyways, it had a bestiality clause to it. So when they repealed that law, bestiality technically became legal.
Ooh, yeah.
Like technically. And it was like in the 80s when that happened. And so like for quite a long time, they like, oh, well, maybe we should fix that. So yeah, laws are weird.
Laws are weird.
I mean, that's just very libertarian of them. They're like, I guess that's,
I just
what
don't think
our
they were
state.
paying. Either they weren't paying attention, or they were like, "Who's paying attention?"
They can't.
Anyways,
Most states
that
can't
is
even
very
fix their own
librarian of
roads.
them.
yeah.
I was gonna say most states can't even fix their own roads. So why would they pay attention to the laws?
I think right now that like Dallas and the areas around us are going too far the other way.
Exactly.
They're fixing too much.
They're being very Siberian.
Well, I no. What I mean is that they are over fixing our roads.
Okay.
Like I go down one road it's being constructed on, and I turn the corner, and then the next road's also being worked on. It's like
Let's finish.
let's
something.
finish one. Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, there are a lot of in DFW. There's a lot of like fruit in houses. They're high berry dens.
What?
I
Yeah, lick him.
I can't participate in this conversation, so I'm joining in my own way.
Let the dog kiss you.
Things don't mean what you think they mean. Yeah, I don't know if I have an example either that I can think of.
I was just thinking about like laws that we wish meant something else, like how we could misinterpret things that exist. Like the right to bear arms is just that you're allowed to have arms. Well, arms that aren't yours. You're legally allowed to carry a pair of arms that aren't your own arms.
What are you doing? Are you gonna make your way down?
Yeah. Ooh, our first awkward silence. I love it so much.
All right, well, mine is I've
Yeah.
got my prompt. If we hit a lull, we have to move on to the
Yes,
next one.
absolutely.
Mine is subversive things you want to tell to the fandom.
Subversive things?
Yeah. So, like for instance,
Yeah,
mine
give me an example.
is that recently One Piece, the live action, is getting amazing reviews.
Sure.
Amazing reviews. It's just crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've
I've heard
already-
really good things. I
yeah,
personally haven't watched it, but I've heard really good things.
approving, like they're already approved for a second season, all that. Why couldn't you let Cowboy Bebop be? Why is it so good, huh?
I read it's because they were actually working with the original author to improve upon his story, that like changes he would make to make it better.
Is that it? Is that it, huh, fandom? Is that it? Is that why I can't have my season 2 Cowboy Bebop? Huh? Huh?
I'm going to second
Ah!
this.
Second.
No, I mean, I will add my own, but I want to
Okay.
interject that I'm so happy that One Piece has this. Like the One Piece fans
I'm
have
glad
this.
you guys have that.
I think
But we
that
could have had it too.
Cowboy Bebop had to crawl where One Piece got to run.
Yeah. No,
To
I,
me-
I
Full
agree.
Metal Alchemist had to crawl where One Piece got to run. Full Metal Alchemist came before. They set the tone.
I
Cowboy
thought-
Bebop
wait.
just got bullied out of even running.
The
Wait.
live action of Full Metal?
Yeah,
I watched it. It wasn't good.
it was. Yeah, but that's crawling.
Well,
That's
okay,
about
wait,
as crawling
wait.
as crawling can get.
Well, but I mean, like, as far as like improvement goes,
Oh.
because if we're gonna start with like Full Metal Alchemist live action, that's not really. That's just.
No, I got one worse, I think, than Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, I mean, the
What?
Dragon Ball Z movie.
the Death Note.
Oh yeah,
I think that was. I think
I
that's
didn't
worse.
even watch that
It
one.
It's
was
terrible.
garbage.
Yeah.
and I love Willem Dafoe.
It's terrible.
Not having watched the movie or whatever the series, that sounds like such a non sequitur.
No, like Willem Dafoe's in it. Who do you think he plays?
Yeah, we all know who he plays.
the Shinigami. The
Okay,
demon.
I was
Yeah.
like, if
Yeah.
you hadn't seen it, I was wondering if you would just be like,
Yeah.
he's Light Yagami.
Yeah, he's light. Yeah,
He's
No,
light.
he's L.
He's the best Light. Oh, he's L. What are you doing, Spider-Man? I'm
you
here
turning
for
your back
Light
on the podcast?
Yagami.
You done?
But I think though that it's a good trajectory of things. Like, yeah, maybe with the One Piece doing so well, the live action show, maybe they'll revisit Cowboy Bebop. Be like, hey, like this is a good, like maybe we can learn lessons from this and improve. I don't know. That's the goal, because I love Cowboy Bebop, and I thought the show was.
Cowboy Bebop is my absolute favorite anime of all time.
All
So I'm like
time.
I'm a huge fan of it, and for other fans to be like, it was so awful, I'm like, you can have that opinion, but it
I don't-
doesn't. But they're like, you must not have loved Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, don't tell me what I did or didn't love.
The gatekeeping in anime is
Like-
wild.
Oh yeah.
Like we can like different things, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Like I get shamed for liking Naruto. Like I love Naruto. I read the manga before the anime
I
like
did too,
existed.
but I wouldn't say I love Naruto.
I did though. I really did.
I mean, I cosplay Kakashi, so
Yeah.
I got pretty close to love,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say that. I can say, especially, oh man, you want to talk about like something being amazing at the time and then going back and like watching it again and being like, why does this suck as much? I thought back in the day that the pain fight was just like the pinnacle. Like, oh, this is an awesome fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back and rewatched it. It sucks.
Really.
The animation is
The
horrible.
What I love about that fight is that because it goes over multiple episodes, is that you can tell they are using like two different studios in that fight.
Yeah, you
One
can.
studio does decent, although like you lose a lot of the details and they focus more on the motion of it.
Yeah.
The other one has the details and the motions aren't there.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, I would say the one where they focus more on the motion is the worst one because
Really?
it looks like a child's drawing.
Interesting.
It's rough. It's
I actually think I like that one more.
like who?
it-
why
but it
couldn't
is-
why couldn't the people that animated the Yurikoi fight, Yurikoi Ichigo fight, do that fight, the pain fight?
Oh man, I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Wait, Naruto used different studios.
Well,
Oh,
because
that's pretty common.
yeah, because of the production schedule is so stringent and so intense, they will bounce between like they'll kind of leapfrog studios.
do they still do that now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is it just by season or episode? It's episode.
It can
by
be episode to episode.
There
Yeah,
could be multiple companies within a singular episode.
that's also true too.
Like, that, and I mean that's pretty common. I mean, you see that in movies.
Yeah,
Like, there's like 15 animation companies that do any given movie.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we watched the latest Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, and there were so many animation
Yeah.
companies that were
Well,
were
that makes sense.
credited on
but
that.
when you're dealing with like a episodic series, in order to be able to reach that kind of deadline of hey, an episode every single week, unless you plan out years ahead of time, the only way you can get it to go fast is have multiple companies working simultaneously on multiple episodes. So
Okay.
I listened to a podcast all about Steven Universe. I really like that show, whatever. And that's a 15-minute long show. So it's about 12 minutes of content, and that's like including the intro and outro of the show. They say from top to bottom, it takes 9 months to make a single episode of
To
that.
make a single episode,
A single episode takes 9 months.
like
And they only use the one studio, so they make that, quite a long time in advance before you actually see it on TV.
So I guess they draw out everything, then
And so they have it animated in Korea. So that's the studio they use is in Korea. But I mean that also includes like the writing, the storyboarding.
Okay, so it is including a lot of things that I would say almost post. Like in anime, I feel like in anime, they probably have things written before, right? They at least have an idea of like the first season written.
Well, I mean, a lot of anime is based off manga, so
Yeah,
in that way, that's right. Yeah.
I would think that they would have that. Obviously, when we're going to the dubbing side, it's like they're getting the scripts. The adaptation of it is different. They don't have a long lead time, but I would think you would have an idea writing wise. So, what was your prompt? Was things
Subversive
thoughts.
Subversive things you want to say to the fandom.
See, it's so funny because we play at our cons Hot Take on Me, so it's very similar to that, and I always struggle in that game.
You
Kayla,
have no subversive thoughts, like no hot takes.
this is something we ran into earlier tonight. I don't care enough about anything to have hard and fast like opinions.
Christian's never been hard about anything in his life.
Never.
No,
Not once.
No.
Only soft.
only soft. I like soft
Soft-boiled.
tacos.
Yeah.
Soft boiled
Can't
eggs.
figure out what he
Soft
wants.
boiled eggs.
Can't figure out what he wants inside the taco though.
My abs are very soft and doughy.
Yeah. I
Some-
don't know why I agree.
Okay, so
I
I
agree
have
too
a hard
fast.
opinion.
Yes.
I have a hard opinion, like
What?
a subversive opinion.
What?
It's about Baldur's Gate 3. I've started playing it. I love Baldur's Gate. It's honestly one of my favorite video games because it's turn-based and you get fantasy. It's like it's all the things. It was almost like it was made just for me. Is what it feels like. But I started getting I wanted to get all the companions I could get. I know you can't get all of them because literally getting some of them edges you out from getting the other ones. But I wanted to try to like.
I know where the story's going because
I
wanted to try to get as many as I could. And so I had to go back and to some previous saves. I got them. But my opinion is
Yeah, because she let the village die, and Karlak wouldn't join her because she let the village die.
Karlak said to me when I was going to find her after the village was dead, she was like, "You let the village die." And I was like, "No," she said, "You killed the villagers." And I said, "I didn't kill them, okay?"
That's a strong word.
I didn't murder them myself.
I took an ill-timed nap.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Apparently you can't take some long rests in there or they all die. I was like, I literally killed all the goblins I came across. I just did it in my own time. I did it while skipping through.
Dude, you know what though? Because there's that really common meme of like, oh, Link, save me, and then you see him run around collecting Koroks or whatever. Like
That's me.
This is the opposite though, where it's like, oh, hey, gotta go kill those goblins. Make sure you free the bear, and you're like, that's fine. I'm gonna go do something else first. And then he died, and you're like, what happened? Why did he die? I have all these Koroks.
So, going and playing Baldur's Gate, everyone online, I was like seeing a lot of posts, they all really love Astarion. Everyone loves Astarion. And I have to say, I think his like character design, he's very attractive. I love vampires. I love vampire everything. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to love Astarion. So then I started playing. He's so annoying at times. Don't touch me. He's always like saying things I'm like, I could smack you right now. I might stab you.
The thing she's not saying is that she wants to have a snoo with all these characters, and none of them want to have snoo with her. And
I can't romance any of my
none of them
characters.
want her, and it's because her playthrough's too chaotic, and so nobody likes her except for the one she doesn't like, which is Lysel.
I realized, because Corey was telling me, he's like, everyone was trying to romance my character. Like, everyone.
Yeah, in my playthrough, like
Everyone was.
even characters I'd never talked to, like Will. Will tried to get in my pants. I never talked to him. I didn't even have him in my party. Never spoke to him.
Corey was saying that. I was like, okay, I guess that's going to happen to me. No. I look, and they all turn me down or are like, I'm going to leave now. And they just walk off. And I looked at the little meter that can tell you how they feel about you, and every single one of them feels like neutral or I have one that feels fair about me.
And that's Karlach, because Karlach's bae.
Yeah, that's only because I've intentionally tried to make Karlach like me, and I've only gotten it to fair.
I love this. Why don't these fictional characters love me? I haven't checked any of their levels. I haven't tried to romance anybody. Like, the little prompt comes up all the time with, like, oh, why don't you wild shape in my pants? I'm like, I'm not choosing that. I'm just going to say, hey, have a good night, like a normal person.
I accidentally flirted with one of them because like I was playing my barbarian
Accidentally.
No, it was an accident because I was RPing super hard and I was playing Shin. I was playing Shin.
Yeah.
And Gale was like, you want to learn some magic? And I was like, hell yeah. Shin would love to learn magic as a barbarian. Like, and so I didn't realize those were the romance options. So he starts showing you magic. And it's like this really romantic moment. My character's all wonder-eyed looking off. And Gale's like looking at me lovingly. And I'm like, no, I just want to learn magic tricks.
That's also a very Shin thing. So Shin is a character that Corey actually plays in D&D, and I've DM'd for Shin before, and I remember Shin having to have like sex explained to him and puberty explained to him while he just sat in the corner all wide-eyed. Like, that's very accurate.
Yeah, I had my first kiss as Shin was headbutting someone because it was a kissing competition. I just
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
I almost was the quickest. It was about who could get somebody to kiss them the fastest, and Shin went the direct approach.
Yeah.
Still took me 40 seconds.
It made me laugh really hard.
I'm playing Niana,
Yeah.
who no one likes.
Yep, nobody... Niana watched a kid get punched in the face and did nothing about it.
In Baldur's Gate, this kid was trying to steal something, and he ends up getting punched. And then the guard comes over, and he's like, "What happened to this kid?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing." And then basically,
He got his face rocked.
by the end of the interaction, both the kid and the guy who hit him hated me.
Wow.
That's my character in a nutshell. Everyone hates her.
Dude, I've had a lot of accidental, like, people start hating me. So, Maul, the little tiefling, like, street
Maul hates
urchin.
me.
Yeah, so, like, a kid tried to pickpocket me, one of the tiefling kids, and I was like, hey, don't do that. They ran off crying. And then later, I stumbled into their little den of thievery. Mm-hmm. And I succeeded on all the social checks. And she's like, oh, you're all right, but you still need to leave. And then while I was trying to leave, she's like, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I'm telling the guards. And then the guards tried to arrest me from there on out. And I was trying to leave. And yeah, I was like, what the? And now Maul loves me, but...
Wait, where was
Maul,
that? Is that in the second act?
No, that's in the
It's in the
first
first
act.
Where is that in the
You never found it. Anyways, Maul has vowed to kill me.
Really?
Maul has vowed to grow up and kill my character
That's awesome.
because I thought I did something good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad they have strong opinions.
But I
about
don't want to spoil it for either
Right.
of you.
Can I go find it now? I don't know.
know.
I haven't
Well,
technically
if-
haven't left the first act. I'm still in the first act because I had to redo it a
I
couple
think it's
times.
in the Grove, so if you've done the Grove stuff.
Yeah,
already-
if they've left the Grove, it's probably too late.
Yeah.
Now, Maul likes me now, but there is, like, some character story development in Act 2, and I want to see how that shakes out before I make any hard, like, announcements about our relationship. Friendship.
Her vow to destroy me, or hers?
I think it's a her. I think Maul is short for Molly.
Okay. Maul had vowed to kill me at the pretty much close to the end of Act 3.
Got you.
And it's because something I did and in hell. And so yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm excited to go into Act 2. I've been on the cusp of it for a while.
Dude, there's a lot to do in Act 1. Like, I'm level 8, I think, and I'm at the very beginning of Act 2. Wow. Yeah.
Leveled up hard throughout
I
the
did
way.
everything I could find, man. I went to, like, I fought Auntie M or whatever her name was.
The
hag?
The hag, yeah. I went to, like, I did everything in the Underdark.
Danny failed to save the girl.
Oh my gosh! So
I saved the girl. She
that's
was
what
pissed.
happened to me last. So I went into the hag's den, all the stuff to get in there. I finally got in there, and I go up and I'm killing the hag, and you know it's it's basically, I don't want to give anything away, but she's about to die. Her victim is about to die. It's in a cage, and I kill the hag, and then I go over to save her, and she doesn't get saved, and everyone was like, "Wow, you let her die." And I was
That's
like, "I
awesome.
didn't let her die."
So my playing character, the one I made, is a rogue. I made her invisible, snuck around, and freed her from the cage before the fight even started.
Yeah.
Wow, that's ingenious.
I had to star and do that.
I just hack and slashed in
Because there's
there.
a button, right?
Yeah, there's a lever. Yeah.
I didn't see that. I just was
Why
like,
was a button? It was like a little orby thing.
Oh, maybe it was.
I stared at her for like a good half second in the cage while it was flinging, and I was like, I don't know how to save you, and then she fell.
That's amazing. No, I saved her, and then I put my rogue. There's like a little ledge. I put her up there, and then I just went to town and killed her on my first try. I was pretty excited.
I mean, Karlak pretty much cut that hag down pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like quick for me.
Karlak
But
is bae.
Yeah.
she really did good work, but I didn't know there was a lever, so I just watched.
That's so funny. No, Karlak did a lot of work. Shadowheart spent most of the fight just trying to get to the fight. She's like, I'm. It's like, what's that? Kung Fu Hustle? Not Hustle. The other one. I'm coming, and he kept on like being farther back in the shot.
Fu Nights?
I'm coming. Whatever. No, that's the
Nights?
Jackie Chan one.
No, not Shinganai.
So
I do know what you're talking
Who
about.
do you have in your party?
I rotate depending on, because I know once I found out that long rests will advance the story, I try to not take them as much as I can. So I will rotate out. I have my casters and then my heavies, but I always have my main character, obviously, and Shadowheart being my main healer. So those are my mainstays.
Shadowheart's a garbage healer.
Sure, and I would like to be able to rotate her in and out
She
as
sucks
well.
so bad. And I love her, but she sucks. Like, she spends more time healing herself than she does healing anybody else.
Yeah,
'cause
I've
she's
had to
so
heal herself.
stinking squishy.
Well, I mean, so she does pull aggro because she's a healer. So I've done everything I can to make her AC as high as possible.
I was noticing that I was having to heal her a lot.
But like, I'll have either Karlak or Lizelle, one of those two, and then Will or Gale. So those are my ones I rotate between, depending.
Okay.
I don't know why this made me think of it, because you said spellcasters. Sidebar. This is the first Corey interrupts a conversation for a random sidebar. Yay!
Do.
Konami just released a product. It's in celebration of the 25th anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! Happy birthday, Yu-Gi-Oh! You're still a garbage game, and I love you. We have a toxic relationship. And they released a Platinum Dark Magician. It is a singular card.
He
It
showed
is
it
a
to me.
card. A card. The difference between this Dark Magician and most other Dark Magicians is that instead of the card being a gold color, the goldish, it's silver.
Okay.
If you want to know how much this card cost,
Is it like the One Ring in Magic the Gathering, where it was like over like $2 million?
no, it's not that rare. You can buy one. There
Okay.
are multiple prints.
Okay.
You can buy one.
$500.
$1,300
Okay.
for a card
It better have real platinum in.
laced into it.
Yeah, like it needs to be. What is it? What do they say? Gold
Plated.
gold flecked or whatever.
Look,
like, it better be platinum.
I get that that's a lot of money. I wouldn't spend that much money on a card. But ever since the One Ring in Magic the Gathering,
But the thing about it is that makes sense because there was only one printed. It's literally a rarity thing.
oh, I get it.
What is the one card? In
So it's,
Magic?
Lord of the Rings, the One Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a collaboration with Magic the Gathering and made a line of Lord of the Rings cards. And they made the One Ring, but there was literally just one.
So who owns it?
Post Malone.
Post Malone.
He bought it for $750,000.
Something ridiculous. Because some random guy found it, posted about it online, and Post Malone's like, hey, I want that. I want it now. And there's like a video of them doing the
Post
exchange.
Malone is into magic.
Post Malone's a big nerd, yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of those. I mean, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yeah. Vin Diesel,
Yeah, but I feel
What does
like
Vin Diesel do?
he's a big nerd. Yeah.
what's he into?
I
Shampoo?
I don't.
I now love
D&D, I know he's into
I-
D&D for sure.
I love Vin Diesel
Really?
more than I loved him before.
Yeah, no.
I just recently rewatched. I am now rewatching all the Fast and the Furious.
Have you watched the
Yeah.
old ad of him doing Street Sharks, like the commercial for it?
No.
It's so
What's
terrible.
Street Sharks?
Oh, so
It was another. Can I answer?
Absolutely.
It was another studio's attempt to capitalize on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reached the height of their popularity, there was like a bunch of copycats. There
yeah,
was
mutant mice from Mars,
Mutant Mice from Biker Mice from Mars.
biker mice,
Biker Mice from Mars. Street Sharks.
Street Sharks.
Okay, you know what? You're unlocking a core memory now. I think I have heard of Street Sharks, but I didn't know Vin
loved-
Diesel was a part of it.
Yeah, well, he did like TV commercials. So there's a video of him like, hey, so this is Sharky McBitey. He loves concrete or whatever. It's really funny. I do improv.
I love that you described one that sounds like he's he's like the Walmart greeter of the street.
It got,
Like he's
dude, it felt like
he likes to ride motorcycles, and then there's Buddy McBuddy.
yeah,
He eats concrete.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's exactly what it is.
he's the oh no, this one during the mutation process, this one didn't work out so well.
This one got only the brain of the shark.
This one's got human legs. They can't lift up the rest of his body.
Uh-oh, we broke Corey.
Look up Street Sharks right now.
Do you know, I had... Give Corey a minute to
Street
compose himself.
Sharks.
The idea that they all show up, they're all mean.
I have totally seen these bulked up sharks.
Yeah, bro.
He's like flabby. He's the only one that doesn't work out.
It's like
Okay,
if
which
I...
one's the cool one for you, Corey? Which one are you into?
The-
Who's into the hammerhead?
No,
The look Danny gave me told me I should say nobody.
Yeah, nobody should be into
I don't...
I do like that they hammerheads make noise out of water.
Out of water?
Yeah.
What's the noise?
You're not gonna believe me if I show you.
I believe you.
What is that
I
really?
saw a video. Yeah, it's like just a little hammerhead.
This one's an orca. This one's a manta ray.
I don't think that those are core Street Sharks. I think those are just other characters.
Yeah.
But no, I had rings with the Street Sharks heads on them. And in the third grade, I had one of each shark, and I handed them out to my friends. And all of them were confiscated by a teacher. I never got them back. I was furious.
I've watched more Street Sharks stuff than I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff.
And you couldn't even remember them. That's interesting.
Because no one else talks about them.
Do you know, I was a huge Street Shark
I
fan.
watched Street Sharks. I did not watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I watched both, yeah. I mean, like, obviously, the Ninja Turtles had more of a longevity.
Yeah, clearly they have a bigger following.
Yeah.
I think this is like.
I
what is-
like. Okay, so let's talk about the new Ninja Turtles. I don't know if I like the art style. I think it looks like what I would imagine a seizure would look like.
It gives me claymation vibes.
Like it feels like a drug-induced seizure.
Have you ever watched, it was like from the 70s, there's an animated movie called Wizards.
no.
Mark Hamill was in it. It was actually before Star Wars, I think. That is a drug-induced nightmare. It is utterly insane. But it's very much like anti-nuclear war and stuff. It was wild. So anything other than that, I don't know. I mean,
You know what I would love? Now I think about it. You know what I would
ice
love?
cream?
So you know how like today, because content's so easy to make.
yeah.
There's like there's like a lot of these sentiments.
I mean, except for you just farted in the water.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of like content's easier than ever to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like back in the now, so you know how like for everything that exists in pop culture, there's like a terrible Christian version.
Yeah.
And now there's like a terrible right-wing version.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would love-
they're not necessarily different versions. Those are sometimes
Yeah, but
one
you
and the
get what I
same.
mean. Like there's now like a terrible right-wing version. Like
Yeah.
I would love to like go back and like the idea of like a what about a pro nuclear war animated movie?
Oh wow.
Like what would a pro nuclear war animated movie look like?
That's interesting.
Like some of these like old back issues.
So Godzilla's kind of that. So when Godzilla was first created and first made movies, it was the like denouncing the horrors of nuclear war, but the public has fallen in love with Godzilla and now he's the hero, no longer the villain. So in a way, the evolution of the
I don't know if
fandom.
it was denouncing. It was just an allegory to nuclear war.
Well, yeah, but it was also like, hey, this is horrible and look
Yeah.
how bad it is. But now we're like, oh my god, Godzilla's the best. Destroy our city.
Yeah, but that's more like it was not intended to be that way.
Oh, I know.
I would just like
You want a purposeful.
I would like just like
What was Godzilla's purpose?
it represented so Godzilla was born out of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like
Really? I thought Godzilla possibly existed in media before then. Did not?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
I don't know my Godzilla
No.
history.
It represents the nuclear attacks.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it was made in the 50s.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it represents Japan's feelings on that. Like it's a
Yeah,
monster.
a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
got
that-
literally
and
yeah.
like so
wiped out and changed.
That original movie is basically a horror movie.
yeah.
Oh.
And that's why Godzilla's powers are all nuclear based for the most part.
Yeah.
because he represents the atomic bomb.
He is literally a physical manifestation.
Yes.
Of the atomic bombs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like he was born out of nuclear waste. Like that's not what I'm saying. It's like he represents.
I thought that the lore of Godzilla was that he was born out of nuclear waste.
Well, that's kind of the Hulk. That's not true.
No,
That
Oh,
was a
I thought there was some. I thought that
there is, but it's.
I know
more
very little about Godzilla, but that was the only thing I knew.
Yes, sort of, but I mean, depends. I think it's changed. I'm not entirely sure. I just
We don't know
that
what's canon to Godzilla now.
His initial intent was to represent the fear and horror of nuclear weapons, like
Yeah.
and the nuclear destruction of those two cities.
Oh, okay.
So my like hot take subversive thing is it's also video game related. So it's so funny. Like talking about earlier, I like Naruto, I like Bleach, I like all of, like the things that people hate.
Do you like Twilight?
No, I don't. But
Okay, it's in that same category.
No, it's not.
as Naruto and Bleach,
No, it's not.
it's like it's like a thing that's really popular that some people love and a lot of people hate.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
mean that
okay.
it's in the same
I was
genre.
like-
No, I just mean it's in the same category of
Right.
when it was coming out, people
Right.
actually really liked it. It was only later on that now culturally we have been like, no, that's crap, and
No,
anyone
yeah.
who likes it is crap.
I know I never liked Twilight.
What do you get to your thing? Let
So, yeah,
let
yeah.
the man cook.
I'm sorry.
I used to love, like, I was obsessed with Assassin's Creed. I loved it. Like I really loved all of the alternate history stuff, the like Illuminati confirmed kind of stuff. I thought it was so fun. Like I'm listening to the Magnus Archives. Like you can just unlock all these details, and it was just really cool. And like when you learn certain things, context will change. It was just neat. And now they've done away with it because the company heard people complaining, oh, we don't like all the present day stuff. And so they killed off Desmond and just focus on all the past history stuff. And now it's completely meaningless. And I think they should bring back the overarching storyline because that was my favorite part.
What's weird? Kind of agreeing with your I've never liked Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
because I came to it too late.
sure.
I didn't play 1, 2, or 3. I played Unity first, I think.
So Unity is where I was so angry that my love was forever tarnished. And I haven't loved it the same since.
Yeah, and
Because
then
that game ruined it for you.
That game was such a grab bag of like corporate synergy. And it didn't work on launch. I was so angry. It was just
I played that, and then I played Black Flag.
Black Flag was good.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. And what's funny is like part of it feels like too it's the fans themselves. But like Assassin's Creed kind of became like the Rick and Morty of video games to me.
Yeah.
Where it was very highbrow.
Yeah.
and then somehow it became the monster.
So wait, when was Assassin's Creed good? Like, what years are we talking that Assassin's
1, 2, and
Creed?
3.
Like, when did those come out?
Yeah, so like when did they come out? Like
Yeah, like what's the...
like 2008?
Okay.
2008 or 2009, because it was at the advent of the PS3.
Okay.
Was Assassin's Creed 1. And it seemed like a very straightforward game, sort of, but then there was so much mystery, and I loved it.
2007, November 13, 2007 was the first Assassin's Creed.
So the second one was
That's interesting.
2009.
Yeah.
The third one...
So there's actually games in between the second and third one.
Oh, okay.
So you had Revelations, which I really enjoyed as well. Mm-hmm. But and then 3 is where they killed off because like Assassin's Creed is like modern day storyline and then ancient past civilization stuff. And in 3 they killed off the modern day character Desmond. Mm-hmm. And then when they went into Black Flag, which was 4, which came out after 3, that's how math works, they made the main character you. It was you. And, like, not Danny. Like, it was us. Like, you were playing a self-insert, and I hated it so much.
Did you get to customize your character at
No,
all?
it was all first person. You never saw your own character.
You didn't?
No, they never talked. You couldn't see yourself. It was just... I might as well have been a passive passenger watching cutscenes.
That's
without. I was
wild to me.
Yeah, so like that's Black Flag. So like all of the ancient, like all the gameplay of Black Flag was so good, but because a lot of that context was lost, I just didn't care about the overarching storyline. But I'm also the kind of person too. Like I grew up with cartoons like Batman, the animated series, the old Spider-Man show. Where like cartoons were very much just like non sequiturs, like they would happen in their own little continuity, and then the next episode everything kind of fell back to zero and status quo and started all over again. That's why one of the reasons I love anime so much is that every episode builds and it affects the story in the future. Assassin's Creed, it was doing that, and then they took a step backwards where it's like, okay, well nothing matters because it's all so disconnected by hundreds of years. And none of this matters anymore.
That's wild that you could never see your character in that, because that was one of the cool parts of that game that I kind of enjoyed, like, vaguely on it.
That it was
Assassin's Creed?
My ex loved Assassin's Creed. It's
That makes
his
sense.
favorite game besides Rocket League.
Oh wow, he could not. Wow, that makes perfect sense. Like those two
He
games.
liked those two games.
I'm sorry, Assassin's Creed turned into a douchebags game.
look.
Can we say
Like-
that on the stream?
I don't know.
So that's my thing though, is like I loved it before, and
He did not. I never saw him play the fourth one because I always could see the characters.
Right.
I enjoyed jumping off stuff into hay bales. And,
well, I mean, like, so all of that is
historical
still
stuff.
around. Yeah, that stuff still exists, and
But
they
you don't
did.
see your character. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
and it was like that in Unity as well. Now they did try and kind of go back. Which one was it? The ancient Greece one. They all have such names I can't remember anymore. So they did introduce her name's Layla,
Okay.
and then that continued into Valhalla. But I kind of got a bit more interested. But I started to really not care about the choices of the ancient stuff because they were no longer assassins anymore. Like they were just people who sort of interacted with assassins at a distance. And I was just like, I just don't care. Like, I care about the assassins. I care about all that stuff. Like, that's the lore I really cared about. So yeah, like, for me, it made me so sad.
Well, it seems like people like my ex destroyed Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I do. I really think that. So it's kind of like when, like Hollywood studios will take the wrong lessons from things that do really well.
Oh my gosh! Like
Yeah,
one of my favorite examples of this is Kingsman.
Okay.
The first Kingsman is
It's so good.
It's such a fun movie.
Yeah.
The second one is a dumpster fire.
Why do you
And
think it's a dumpster fire? Like, what are
Because
your...
they took all the wrong things. They basically zeroed in on all the wrong things from the first movie.
It's very violent. The second one is, like, in my opinion, hyper
but
violent.
it's not even the hyper violence that's the problem. The first one was also hyper violent.
Yeah.
It's the fact that like, so the first one was just incredible. And then like they're like, oh, this one's doing really well, and then they zeroed in on all the wrong things.
Yeah.
And so like the second one is almost like a cartoon. The weapons are cartoony.
Yeah.
Like the characters are cartoony. Like some major characters die. We don't care.
Yeah.
Like it's just terrible.
Yeah.
It's almost a
parody of itself. Yeah.
I saw the first one. I loved it. I went on a girl date with like a friend date, like with a girl that I was like, oh, like maybe we can be friends. We're going to go watch The Kingsman together. I didn't realize that it was going to be such a terrible movie. We both left and were like, that was awful.
I hate that. Like showing something like, or even showing something to somebody, like a thing that you love, and they're like not interested, you know, like showing Star Wars to somebody and they fall asleep. Like it's just like, oh, I love this, is such part of my childhood, and they just don't care.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem with humans. Like I talk about this in improv, which is that like the one thing, the most vulnerable anybody is when they're showing you something they like.
Yeah.
And we're so cruel in sort of like unintentional subversive ways.
Yeah.
To when people are showing genuine joy and excitement, that it's the hard, like when I teach improv, the hardest thing to get people to do is to show joy.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing we reject the fastest and the most, because it's, I don't know why we do that.
No, it is interesting, like talking about improv and being joyful, like being silly and being all that vulnerable, like that's beaten out of us as we get to be older and to be adults. Like it's so hard. Like, and one of the things I learned in improv was if you don't commit, you look sillier than you would if you just committed all the way and went crazy. But no, I totally feel that though, of sharing that thing that you love. Like when you're a kid and you drew a picture of something, you're like, oh my, like look, it's the Ninja Turtles, and they're like, oh, that's just like a fat little stick, and you're like, oh, I tried really hard, and like, ugh. And then all of a sudden you never become an artist.
I actually saw that in real time for a kid. So I was on a commercial, and
I yelled at this fat little kid.
Yeah, and I punched her, and I said, "You'll never draw a turtle."
You are a turtle.
So there was this girl. She was a very, very sweet young actress. I think she was like 8 or under 8. So young, as in, you know, still needing quite a bit of help on set, like direction from the director. And she was there, and some of her guardians were there, and her sister was there. Like her sister was at a summer camp for acting. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool that like they both get to do acting kind of thing. I think her sister was a couple years younger. And
I'm sorry, real quick, because I'm not listening anymore. Because you said some of her guardians as if she has a battalion of like handmaidens.
I know she has multiple parental guardians.
That's fine. Like
I think I know what you're trying to do. Like I think I know what you're trying to not say, and it's somehow becoming more muddied the more you try to.
She doesn't have parents, okay?
Okay, great. I had parents once.
Did she not have parents?
No. That's why they're called guardians. They don't just call anyone a guardian.
They call a lot of people guardians.
I have regrets.
Okay, so her younger sister was at camp, and I was talking with her guardians, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, they get to both act. She's like, yeah, but her younger sister is just a terrible singer. And I was like, she's 5. Like, she's 5. I don't think I know anyone who sings well at 5. I'm gonna be honest. And I recoiled because my mom unfortunately was not very nice to me about my singing when I was young, and I was like, she's not a good singer yet. Like it really hurt me inside.
No,
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, she's like 5.
Yeah.
Her voice is going to be changing a bunch.
Yeah.
You know, like, who cares if she's not a good singer?
Yeah. Even if, like, what do you care if she's a good singer or not?
Yeah.
You know?
It was difficult because it was like, yeah, she's not a very good singer. She's not nearly as good an actress as her sister. I'm like, she's also 5.
Yeah. She can also do something else. She doesn't have to be like an actor.
I
will say though, there's a part of me that thinks though that will spur her to be obsessed to the point she'll be way better than her sister.
Or
because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, is like, oh, you're not good at this, and I was like, well, I'm about to become good at that.
So, but like between you and I, there's like we are the opposite ends of the spectrum. When people told me like I'm not good at things, I fall apart and I never try them again. You know, like that's why I have, oh gosh, in high school there was a mother of girlfriend. I had a girlfriend who had a mom. There, I said it.
She had a
guardian.
She had a
She had a guardian. One of her two guardians.
One of the Guardians of the Galaxy was her girlfriend.
Yeah,
Okay.
and her mom hated me, did not like me, and the girlfriend who she didn't need to tell me this stuff. I was 18, like whatever, but she was like, "Oh, well, my mom doesn't think you're gonna be anything. Like you're not gonna accomplish anything."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That hurts." Like I'm graduating high school
What
in
did
like
her mom do? For a living?
nothing,
Ha!
nothing.
Yeah.
Her dad was an engineer, so her brother ended up being a literal rocket scientist, worked with Buzz Aldrin and stuff like that.
I think the mom was like, I need to set my daughter up to be with a man who's
No.
going to take care of her.
So this conversation actually came from that the mom wanted to set up my ex-girlfriend with a veterinarian from their church. The
Yeah.
veterinarian was like 27 years old, and we were 18 at the time. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm graduating high school with a high school diploma and not a doctorate. You know, like, what do you want from me?" And
What
I
kind of 27-year-old wants to date an 18-year-old?
a pervy one. So I really, this is going to sound really petty, but I want desperately to become, you know, really famous actor and just look them up and send them like my demo or something. Like, hey, who couldn't accomplish
Send him
anything?
an autograph.
Yeah, send him an autograph.
Well, that. If I do become famous, when I became famous, that'll actually be worth something. I want to send them.
No, do that. That's the level of pettiness you need.
yeah, that's it.
Ooh, we should. That's a good fun prompt. Okay, if we ever like were to hit it big, what's our petty thing we would do?
That, dude, it would literally just be like
would be
send them an something like me at a con with like, oh, like how I'll do it at cons just with Take One, where I'll do like pictures or videos with the audience, be like, hey, look who didn't accomplish anything, blah. Like, yeah,
I'm trying to think of my petty thing and what it would be. They have so many things that are petty that I want to do. It's a myriad.
a Marriott,
A myriad.
a myriad.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's where we were going.
okay.
Let's tell them about what you thought the title of that anime was.
Shangri-La Frontera.
Oh, that's very French and fancy.
But it was Shangri-La Frontier.
Oh,
Shangri-La
I'm very
Frontier.
aware. Yeah.
Shangri-La
So
Frontera.
she kept saying it, and I was like, "Oh, we must have different auditions." And I went
No!
to look at the audition sides, and I was like, "Wait!" I saw her character, the character she was reading for, and I was like, "Wait, I have these sides, but the show title's different." Wait a second! So I called her. at work and was
Yeah.
like, "What did you say the title of that anime was?" And she goes, "Shangri-La," or Shangri-La
Shangri-La Frontera.
Frontera, and I was like,
Did the hyphen throw you?
It was the law. Because frontier in Spanish is frontera. So
Okay.
I just assumed it was...
Have you ever heard of the concept of Shangri-La? Oh, okay.
No. What is the concept of it?
Oh, it's like a mythical city.
"Yeah."
It's a very famous like mythical city.
How do you say
My
it?
thing that made me
Shangri-La.
laugh is that she
Shangri-La?
completely changed the word frontier.
I do like that
Frontera.
too.
Like,
yeah.
like there's not a semblance of what it was left.
Frontera.
Frontier, like we've tossed out letters, added others.
Oh yeah, I do.
Not
like
frontier.
yeah.
I don't know why. In my mind, I
Frontera.
think I was just finishing
Tossed out
the...
that I.
I
put an
clearly
A in
wasn't
there.
reading. Because who needs to read in my voiceover auditions?
No.
Straight checked out.
Yeah.
All right, we've been going for a while.
I know. I said at the beginning this is a short one.
Wait, do we
Yeah.
need to see if anyone was...
Commenting?
Commenting?
No, I need somebody. Yeah, there's no comments.
It's okay. I do have questions that from before.
No, but you need to do your prompt.
Oh, my
We're not
prompt-
going to answer any questions this time. We'll do
Okay,
those next. We'll
that's
do those
fair.
on the actual
Are we
episode
gonna-
1.
Yeah, when's our episode 1? We need
Episode
to-
1 will be not this coming Sunday because we'll be at a con. The following Sunday will be our first episode. We have 2 weeks to promote it.
Yeah. What are we calling this? Because last week
This
was
is session 0.2.
0.2.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome to session 0.2.
0.2.
What was my prompt? Oh, what for you makes a good magic system in fiction? So, for example, my favorite part of a magic system, so like whether it's Lord of the Rings or the canceled Harry Potter or whatever, in anime, doesn't matter. I love that magic will have a consequence. So like I've been watching, is it Mashal? Muscle and Magic? Mashle, whatever. People can just do magic and there's no repercussions. There's like, they don't get tired. They just cast and cast and cast and like nothing matters. But I love where, it's like the Lightbringer series, Brent Weeks, one of my favorite authors. In that series, over your lifetime, all the magic you do eventually will break your mind. And like in the fiction, they say that you die, but it's actually revealed that you don't die, you are killed, right? Like you go, it's like their magic is really tied up in a religion, and there's like this annual thing where all of the casters who are reaching the end of their limits go to the leader of their country, their religion, and they are literally killed by this guy. To avoid, because what happens is eventually your mind breaks, it snaps, and you go crazy and mad and you whatever. And so like that's the consequence. So you can theoretically, it's like there's one where it's like a young guy who was like a really famous artist became like addicted to casting magic, and so burned himself out in his early 20s and had to be killed. I love that.
Because what happens? Their mind gets taken over, or what's the?
No, it's just like it's kind of like it feels like, and tell me if I'm wrong, like eldritch knowledge, where basically the more you know that you're not supposed to know, the more insane you go.
Oh, so it just turns them insane, essentially.
Yeah. So like it's
Or it's like using Sharingan in Naruto.
yeah.
It poisons your mind.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's not a gradual thing. It is very much an all at once.
Oh, it is not a gradual. You don't
No.
feel it building up in your system.
No,
It's
because
more like mercury. Okay.
basically what you can tell is by the color of their eyes. So when you are when you can cast magic, you actually have rings in your eyes, and their magic system is all based on light and color. And so depending on what color rings you have, it can tell you what types of magic you can, or what colors you can cast. And those rings will slowly expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the moment they touch like the outside of your iris, like if your eye is all, let's say you can cast orange and yellow, if your eye is nothing but orange and yellow, eventually it will literally burst and the color will leak into your sclera, the white part of your eye. And when that happens, you're mad.
Oh, okay.
But there's a kind of there's a big debate in the book that they explore. It's like a big part of the book they explore is, do you actually go mad, or are you free from this religion and being killed and things like that?
Oh, so it's a Lightbringer series.
The Lightbringer series.
I have not read that, but that sounds really cool.
They are monstrously sized books. I love them to death.
Okay.
I would say for me, it's kind of a balance between like, I like when magic systems mean something in a sense that like there's cost, cost, mastery, or consequences.
Yeah.
And I like it to where there's differences between all of them. So like for instance, like using Eldritch magic costs sanity. Like like the more you know, the less control of your mind you are. Like that's a cost, but like a consequence is like bending, or the elements where you can't use water unless there's you can't shape water unless there's water around.
Right.
You can't bend fire unless there's fire around, or you have means to make fire.
Right.
Like Full Metal Alchemist.
Right.
Like magic system. I kind of like a blend of all those too. And the one thing I think is the most important to me is difficulty, where it's not just anybody can do anything.
Right.
It like takes some level of mastery, and it's somehow that system is sold either within the text or in the animation that like is believable.
Yeah.
Because like the greatest example is like, well, let's all be real. Their Avatar is magic. Like that's bending is magic.
Yeah.
But there's an obvious physical component that requires mastery that we can see, and it's represented, and that's what makes it so compelling. Is like, oh, there's like we can, as the viewer and or the reader can identify the difficulty that's required. There's something that connects it to us. But whenever it's just like like in the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's like there's nothing for us as the viewer or reader to latch onto that denotes difficulty.
Yeah.
Kind of Avatar is really cool because it intertwines your mind, your body, and your soul into it. Like they talk about all those different things about being able to control the quote unquote elements, magic in that show. You literally do see them doing kung fu, but it's essentially they're moving their body.
I'm sorry. I think it's karate. They're over there doing their karate. Don't look at me.
I love that both the Asian brown people in this episode are just like staring at you with.
I'm also a black
Karate.
belt in
Karate.
Taekwondo, so I can look. My
He
family
also eats concrete.
Yeah, I do eat concrete. My family used to tease me, and they called it chop chop, and I hated it so much.
I think that might be
Well,
something that
you know
they
what-
should not have said.
I
Oh, you know what my mom used to say to aggravate me? Pokemans.
Pokemon.
It still aggravates me when people say, so I say Pokemon, but some people say Pokemon, and they hold on the poke E, I guess, whereas a Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's the E or the
You know what's weird is that technically, if we really think about the root word, which is pocket, they're all wrong. It's pocket. Like,
Yeah,
Poke-
Pokemon.
it's
Pokemon?
They do drop the C, so
Pokemon.
yeah. In Pokemon, there's no C, so that if you
But
do,
there is a K. It's pocket.
yeah, no, I get, but when you do POKE, it does become poke,
Yeah, but there's a hyphen over the E.
which is why instead of going poke,
Pokemon?
yeah, it said Pokemon,
I
be
think-
Pokemon.
Some of my Japanese cards said POKEMON. Like, I think
Yeah.
they did drop the C, yeah.
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
it's,
none
but
of
the
them
root
have
word
C.
is pocket. It's,
Yeah,
it's
pocket
shortened
monsters.
pocket monster.
Pocket
So in
monsters.
technicality, it should be Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah. That's very true.
Like Digimon
Pokemon!
Digimon is a shortened digital monster.
Digital monster.
So it's Digi.
Yeah. No, but I completely agree with you on the like mastery and all that stuff. I started watching on Amazon the Wheel of Time. And I don't understand their magic system, and I keep reading. I just need to read the books because I keep reading about how like people love their magic system. The coolest part about it that I've gotten to so far is that like it's very Lord of the Rings, where like there's a dark power and a chosen one and all this stuff. And way back in the day, this chosen one did something that was so heinous that the magic of their world was cursed. And so any male that tries to do magic is driven insane. Like literally just goes off the deep end, and they have to be hunted down and killed because they become these tyrants and murderers and things like that. Which I think is a very fun system of the consequence or repercussions of like, oh yeah, I mean, can men do magic? Technically they can, but should they do magic? But the power always tempts them. Because there's also like a legend of that one hero who screwed everything up is supposed to, because of prophecy, be reincarnated. So not every male, but most males who get magic, they're like, I'm the one reincarnated, because that guy, that was a male that back then who screwed everything up.
Clearly.
I feel like there's an allegory here I'm not quite getting.
I think you may have just gotten it.
No, I don't know. I feel like Corey got it. I don't know.
I am Jesus.
I mean, kinda.
Because
yeah.
I am male.
Yeah, it's definitely Magic Jesus.
What about you? What makes a magic system?
I just want, when I think of a magic system that I enjoy, I would just want it to have certain rules within that system, and then maybe not follow them rigidly, but like I want to be able to somewhat understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So there's a magic system. So I like the Witcher series because
Yes.
that is a magic system. While complex, it's literally about different worlds and possibly dimensions colliding.
100%, yeah.
Which is super complex. I'm still able to understand the magic system of like, to cast magic, it takes something from you. It takes life force, essentially. It's not that your life force can never be, you can use a flower. That's why you see Yennefer, whenever she's casting, she has like
So that's
stem of
how
a
it is
flower.
in the show. It's not actually like that in the books.
I think
So
in the books
how
it
does-
does take something from her, though.
It can.
Yeah,
There
'cause-
there can be a cost, but it's not life force.
Okay, I don't know if it's life force exactly.
no.
But like,
So it's only life force whenever they don't have something to take from already. Like it just that's what it defaults to if you don't already have a cost ready and waiting.
So the way I understood it is that every spell has very specific costs.
yeah.
And if you don't meet those, the spell just doesn't work.
So
And so because she ends up becoming infertile, that was the cost of the spell that she cast. It
the
was just
spell that he cast, the guy that does the procedure on her, because she
Yeah.
doesn't cast it on herself.
well,
Yeah, it gets taken from her.
so it is also a part of just using magic in general. Like because like she agreed to it. Like she knew
Yeah.
what was happening when she
It's
went
their
to go through the
ascension.
process.
It's I think it's supposed to be similar to how male eunuchs were made, essentially. Like
Yeah.
it's like the female what was it, hysterectomy, essentially,
Yeah.
or whatever. And so it's supposed to help them. I thought it was also because they literally didn't want them having children as well. I thought it was also a
So-
control thing by their society,
Like
essentially.
the show and the books do slightly differ because
She's read all the books too, so
I haven't read all of them. I haven't finished the series yet, but I
did you
have
not
read
finish?
past where the Netflix show is at.
right. Well,
Like-
because they never dive that deep into her history as the show has.
No, they don't.
They talk about like, oh, she was very plain and she's become beautiful using magic. But
But
they
she had a. They said she had a hump, essentially, like she was humpback. and,
Sure.
like, she.
but they in the books, the way I understood it was that she did those things herself. Like there was no forced upon her to do whatever, or she sought it out. Like she made the choice to do it to herself because of it aligned with the goals that she had of being in the political sphere.
See, I read it in the books as it was not something that it was a choice that she was making that she didn't know she would want later.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Like,
true.
like she was definitely like,
I also read
and
it
it was
as
sold to her differently. Like, you have to do this. And later
Oh.
on, she found out that there are sorceresses like Geralt's mom who can have children, and it wasn't going to impact their power. So it was almost like you gaslit me into this choice.
I actually read it. I mean, it's also been years since I read the books, but to me, I thought it was an arrogance thing, where she thought that she could overcome it, like that she could have her cake and eat it too. That's how
Could be.
I internalized it.
She's
but
a very arrogant character,
Yeah.
particularly in the books. But I like how in that crazy system, there's not a bunch of the only overpowered person is Ciri. Like-
and Geralt.
No, I don't think
Geralt's overpowered for a Witcher.
he,
For a
Like
Witcher.
he's gone through trials nobody else has gone through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, I mean, he does have main character syndrome.
Yeah,
Well, he does, but
he does.
like like I did a really deep dive into Geralt's lore, and he was so good during the Witcher trials
They
that
made more.
they made more of them to put him through it. So he is way more powerful than any other Witcher.
I mean, so yeah, he is definitely one in like a million.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's also why the series is called The Witcher, and it's about Geralt.
But I like in that magic system that not everyone is super overpowered. You kind of understand there's like people have to go to school. You don't
And
just
learn,
like
yeah.
pick it up. Ciri's my least favorite character in that whole series because I feel like she doesn't follow the rest of the system, and that's probably why she's my least favorite.
No, so I like Ciri. It's just I don't think that in the books they did a great job of showing her learning, because you see a lot of her struggling and she was never quite getting it, but then they would fast forward of like, oh cool, now she's learned from what's the Marigold, like she learned
Yeah.
from her for years. I'm like, well, I didn't get to see any of that. Oh, she learned all the stuff from Geralt, and they just fast forward, and so you saw her struggling to control things, but then she was just like done and
But see,
moved
that's
on.
I think that's what Danny's getting at is that right there. It's the Naruto syndrome.
Yeah.
One of the things that like Naruto, Goku, and all these other characters, the problem like Naruto, one of the best thing about the series is the fact that everyone's favorite character is never the main character.
Right.
It was every other character around them.
Yeah.
Because they were written better, because Naruto had the nine-tailed fox in him. So basically, yeah, he didn't know how to control the power.
Yeah.
But he still had this basically god-level power
Right. He had
from the get-go.
Right.
And that's
And
Siri, too. She
Siri
has
does.
god-level power
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Sure.
She screams and brings down an obelisk. Like,
Okay. I can see that.
But I still like the magic in that more than another book, a book series, which is by, I think it's called V. Schwab. She does the, what is it? Basically, it's like the Four Londons book. And I don't understand the magic in that book at all. I have this book. I finished the first book, and I was like, I kind of want to know what's going to happen in the, like, narrative-wise. I want to know what's going to happen in this world, because the world's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I don't understand a darn thing about this magic. Like, they just do things. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I think the magic is turning them crazy.
you know what magic system I love the series. Like, I'm in love with the series until I wasn't allowed to be in love with the series. But I always had one major problem, which was how silly their magic system was, which is the Harry Potter series.
Their magic in Harry Potter doesn't have stringent rules.
No, like the words, like, so I could just say a silly Latin word and
Yeah.
it'll accidentally be a spell. Is that
Yeah.
what you're basically? That's what you're establishing. To
But
me.
also too, you have things like in the first book with Harry, he was doing magic without saying anything. He was just willing magic to happen. Which
I didn't have a wand at all.
yeah, didn't have a wand, wasn't intentionally, like, he made the glass disappear between him and that giant snake that freaked out Dudley Do-Right or whatever his name is.
But see, the thing is like in the extended lore, there's an explanation for that, which is that there is wandless magic. Like, you don't
Yeah.
need a wand to do magic. Like, was it the African school primarily only focuses on wandless magic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't teach wanded magic at all. And which, so I can write that away. It's just that in the system itself, like, okay, if that's true, then why do we have word spells?
Yeah.
Like, and why do the words sound ridiculous?
Well, they also say too,
Like, there's a ridiculous is a spell.
Yeah.
It was also too, like, they have wordless spells too, so people are apparating all the time without saying whatever
Yeah.
the word is.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Well,
to
one
this
of my
system.
things that I thought was annoying was I can't remember what movie it was where they did the polyjuice potion, and it took them weeks to prepare the potion.
Doesn't it? Okay, which one is that? Is that a Chamber of Secrets where it takes them weeks?
Yeah, it takes
Chamber
them
of
weeks.
Secrets.
And then in future movies, they're just making polyjuice potion willy-nilly. Like, it's just like, oh, give me a half hour, I'll have it done.
I feel like they were trying to say they were young students. That's why it took them so long.
Yeah.
And later on, they're just
you do
older.
have to know, like, polyjuice potion is an
I
advanced
guess.
potion, and 12-year-olds are making it.
Well, I get it, but the way they made it sound is like it has to, like, stew and marinate.
Brew, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not just it's not something that even something masterful, it would still take a long time to make.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like if I make a cake, it doesn't matter if I'm a master chef or not. Like, yeah, maybe preparing the ingredients. Like, I'm not great at chopping or mixing. But once it goes in the oven, it doesn't matter how good I am. It still has to cook the same amount of time.
I think Snape would say you can stir faster.
Great. I can stir faster, but I
Actually, in Harry Potter, it's established that, like, in the lore, that, like, even stir speed dictates.
it's
Oh no!
dictates.
So, like, I narrate this series it's a cultivation. It's basically an isekai with a cultivation style magic system, and I do enjoy narrating through his magic system because it's very detailed and everything matters. Like how he did. Like, one of the main focuses of the main character is alchemy, and every little thing, like the angle at which you're crushing the herbs and all that stuff, like, it's really cool.
Darn. So I need our viewers, if anyone actually watches this, to tell me the book that I don't understand the magic is, the first one is A Darker Shade of Magic by Schwab VE. I want to like this series. I want to, but I do not understand it. So I need
what?
sound off. Tell me. Get in my
You know
DMs.
what magic system I don't understand? So I'm rewatching the Yu-Gi-Oh series,
Okay.
and as I'm watching it, I remember as a kid, like, first of all, I'm watching it in the sub for the first time, and it's a different show.
Yeah.
It's a completely different show in the Japanese. It's a way better show.
Sure.
4Kids butchered that thing like they did One Piece. Like, they just botched it to hell and back. But as I'm watching it, I'm, as an adult with an adult brain, realize there's no rhyme or reason why anybody should want the Millennium Puzzle. All the other Millennium items do something. The Millennium Puzzle doesn't do anything other than house a soul.
Right.
That's it. All the other ones can do
A soul with amnesia.
Yeah. And like Bakura's does that and still can point you to the things that you want. What does the Millennium Puzzle do?
Well, I mean, it makes you Pharaoh.
That's it.
Yeah.
But so does the Millennium Ring. And
Does
it still can point, yeah, because it takes over Bakura.
I didn't realize it made him a Pharaoh.
Didn't make him a pharaoh. But
That's it. You become the leader of all the other Millennium items.
The weight of leading is all
no,
you
it
need.
doesn't do anything. And what's worse is like
It gives you an activity.
Yugi will show up to like situations. Yami Yugi will show up to situations where they're using Millennium Magic, and it is not apparent what his Millennium Puzzle does.
No.
It just reacts to them. The other ones, like
Ooh,
like the
they're
guy,
here.
like the guy that's watching a fight go down but not doing anything. Like, oh look, I'm here too.
So live action Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you think it could work?
No,
Have you thought about this, Corey?
I have, and
I mean, the hair wouldn't work.
well, I mean, even if you were to take away the impossibility of the hair, it would be like trying to make JoJo's Bizarre Adventure live action work. Like, half of what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Dramatic in any fashion is their unbelievable lack of spines. Like, I blew at a convention, I blew somebody's mind because I was like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with cards.
Yeah.
Same poses.
Yeah.
The monsters are the stands. It's
Yeah.
just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
No, you're right.
With
Because Yugi's stand is
Dark Magician. And
Kaiba's is the
blue eyes.
blue eyes.
And if you look at Kaiba do anything, he's basically Dio.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Because like he's the way he stands, like the fact that he doesn't have a functioning spine.
Yeah. Everybody's clothes, like, they used a lot of starch to get there.
Starch, the bullet, like Kevlar level starch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and everybody's clothes defy all the known laws of physics. Like Yugi wears a school jacket, like Yami Yugi wears a school jacket as a cape
Yes.
through most of the show. But for some reason, it's always perfectly like billowed out and
Yeah.
frozen.
Yeah.
There's no way a jacket would actually be able to do that.
No. Maybe making it a live action wouldn't work. I agree. But maybe just doing it in a much more kind of, I don't know, realistic art style might be what kind of bridge that gap where it's still
Well, we're still going to
animated.
deal with the fact that like the whole thing is them pulling out cards and summoning monsters and then talking about like plays in their head.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
is not going to be fun to watch.
No.
In any sense. There's no like fighting per se. Like they don't punch each other.
No.
Like their monsters just blow up.
Yeah.
That reminds me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reminds me of the anime that I just played a character who came back, and it was a really small part, but the game is all about describing different games. So it's essentially a school where they're all competing against each other in these made up games. And I'm just like, it's a game, it's a show where every moment they're like trying to explain the new board game to me, and I cannot.
Oh, I'm
with
so.
that.
And by the way, I'm in that show. Did I tell you about this? So the director of that show gave me the greatest direction ever. And he's like, if anybody knows anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, if you could hide some references in this, that would be amazing. So in that show, in that scene, is Kaiba and Yugi being real too hard about this game they're playing with each other.
That's so
And
funny.
then one of the bit rolls is Joey Wheeler. Like, he straight up let me do Joey Wheeler. Like, straight up let me do a
It
full
works
Joey
so
Wheeler.
well because they're in a TCG kind of.
Oh,
like
it's, yeah.
place.
And they didn't
It's
even try to
very-
hide it.
they
The game is
didn't.
called MTCG.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
It's MTG, Magic the Gathering, and TCG sandwiched together to MTCG.
MTNC. Oh, wow.
I would say, being a show that I'm watching and I'm like, oh, they're explaining, these games to me. Man, the voice acting, like some of the mains are so good. And honestly, the way it doesn't take itself too seriously is really fun. Like it brought up the, MCT TCG.
MTCG.
CG.
That's one of
That's silly. I love it.
That's one of my favorite things I wasn't expecting when I started to actually dub anime is in the process, everyone who's working at Crunchyroll is aware how ridiculous what we do is. I love that. Like, as with my comedian brain, I love to pick apart little just silly things, and I have to bite my tongue so much because a lot of people don't appreciate my little observances. But man, so many of these directors are just like they're on it before I am because they're living in it. I just show up for an hour and say my silly little lines and go home. I love that so much of just like, I don't know, you're standing out in a field and it's raining pies. I don't know. Have fun, I guess.
Anime.
That's anime. It's like, yeah, okay. I love that.
They're
so
not
much.
all like that, but some are, and it's fun.
No, yeah.
It's a fun time.
I think the isekais are some of the wildest ones. Like in my
I
opinion,
feel like
some of those are just wild.
isekais today are a study in how there can be toxic yes and. like you can take yes and far too far.
I mean,
Is it not true?
We need a cat. Yeah, but the cat has been transported into a person. Yeah, but that person is now a toaster.
no. So like, I've been seeing a lot of like TikToks and reels about the anime movie. I can't remember what it's called now, where the main character falls in love with a chair. Like the chair is actually a person. Like I actually auditioned for that show.
The chair?
Yeah.
He hit him with the chair.
Hit him with the chair. No, but like the chair, like he's trapped in this form or whatever, and she needs to help free him from being a chair. Like he's actually a person. But that to me is like what you just described. Like, oh, he's a chair, and the girl's in love with him. But to me, isekais are very much nerds wanting to live out their fantasies. It's like, oh yeah,
I think that's what anime is.
yeah, but like it feels so self-insert of like, oh, I'm just a fat like guy with acne and I can't get any chicks, and then I go to another world where all of a sudden I'm svelte and hot and my pecs smell like bananas.
You'd want your pecs to smell like bananas?
Yeah.
That's a positive thing to you?
Yeah,
That is not a positive thing.
you would love it.
I would not.
Oh.
Have you ever had like banana scented sun lotion on you?
Yeah, they don't have banana scented anything for like body and
They
skincare.
used to. They used to have banana scented like,
You can get shampoo. Yeah, it's banana
and
scented.
it's awful.
It's
the
the best.
worst smell.
It's
They have that?
okay, fine. My pecs smell like this other person's favorite thing. Everybody who smells my pecs, it smells different.
This nondescript positive thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they say health potions in D&D taste like your favorite food. Like no matter who, like it just changes from person to person. Like there is no
That's
consistent
cheap.
taste.
That's a cheap out. That's a cheap
I figured they were like medicine, like they tasted like shit.
No.
And like I just have to like I
I
feel
love
like
that
crap.
Matt Pat in one episode described how many calories it would require for like a health potion to work, and that basically a health potion has like 40,000 calories in it or some ridiculous number,
gosh.
because the amount of calories it would take to be able to regenerate you to the point of like whatever injury that you had, and like they broke down the metric. It's like, yeah, you're basically consuming like like a year's worth of calories in a singular drink.
Getting diabetes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all diabetes. That's how that works.
Sugar. Health potions are sugar.
They're straight sugar.
Sugar.
All right. Well, I think that's a great place to end it this week.
Sugar. Send us banana
So
flavored.
that means that I'm going to get to send off this episode. If you've enjoyed watching us, be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all social media. Take the #1 improv. I'll do it now.
Yeah, follow us everywhere. All right, and also too,
Except home.
Follow us home.
Please don't.
I'm going home right after these messages. But also, too, if you're going to be in the Odessa area this weekend, come and see us. We're going to be in the Take One stage with Mid-S Anime. I've been Christian Aris.
I've been Corey Flips. I've been Corey Frontera.
I've been Danielle Banana Hammock Phillips.
We don't know who we are. All right.
Yelp banana.
We'll see you
This weekend.
but also in 2 Sundays as we start actually doing this for real and not doing our test streams. Bye, everybody! Yay!